More than 5,000 people have sent me emails as a result of Hugh Fearnley-Whittingstall's fish fight. Now, I respect very much Hugh Fearnley-Whittingstall and the fish fight and the 5,000 people who've emailed me so far, and I anticipate a lot more will come. This is on the key issue of discards, the wasteful issue where fishermen are forced to throw perfectly good fish dead over the side into the sea. According to the European Commission, about 1.7 million tons of good edible fish is wastefully discarded in this way every year in EU waters alone. That's about 23% of all the fish caught in Europe. Now, clearly that is completely unacceptable. It's a catastrophe for the environment, for fish stocks, for the food chain, and it has to stop. But simply demanding an outright ban, an overnight ban, is not going to be easily achieved. We've been working on this for years. First of all, you have to understand the fishermen are the first people in the queue demanding an end to discards. They hate it. As fishermen, they see that they're dumping their future, they're dumping their livelihood over the side into the sea. They are forced to do it by management rules that were imposed by the European Commission here in Brussels. And that's why we've been arguing during the current debate on the reform of the common fisheries policy that we must end this catastrophic micromanagement from the bureaucrats in the centre here in Brussels and devolve meaningful management back to the member states, down to the stakeholders, the fishermen, the scientists, get them all working together. They know the best management tools to ensure that we can end discards, to ensure that we put in place measures that avoid catching undersize or fish for which we don't have a quota. That's going to be the best way, rather than forcing fishermen to throw fish dead back into the sea. You've got to understand right now that if fishermen who are fishing, say, for haddock in the North Sea, inadvertently, when they pull their nets in, the haddock will be accompanied by a few cod, whiting, a few other species, because it's coming from what's called a mixed fishery, where various species of fish swim together. And you can't avoid catching several different species, even although you're targeting one species like haddock. Now, if the fishermen are fishing for haddock and they have no quota for cod, they have to dump the cod dead back into the water. If they try to land it, they will be charged with a criminal offence, and they will end up sometimes even in jail, or at least with a very hefty fine. These are the current rules, and we have to find a better way of managing our fisheries to avoid this wasteful discarding. We've also got to realise that simply introducing a land all policy, forcing fishermen to land everything they catch, could have consequences on fish stocks like, for instance, nephrops or prawns. Because right now, if you catch prawns that you don't want, you can put them back in the water with almost 100% certainty that they will survive. If you force fishermen to land them, you're going to increase the mortality of prawns, the opposite impact of what you want. The same applies to sharks. Sharks have a very high survival rate. If you catch a shark by mistake, you put it back in the sea, most of the time it will survive. So we can't just have a blanket ban on discards. We need to think this through carefully. We need to have a managed policy. And the best way forward is to avoid catching these unwanted fish in the first place. The best facility we have for looking after our fish is called the sea, and that's where we should leave them.